song is called America. This is taped by Julius Grafman, and the singer is Julian Grafman. Bells played by Madison Grafman, piano played by Brian Grafman, and my name is Hannah. Thank you.
Okay. Are you ready?
No. Look at me.
2, 3.
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Now everybody off stage. Everybody off stage, give them a thank you for watching.
Down?
And after bowing now.
Hello. My name is Jillian Grafman. My uncle died in the World Trade Center, and that made me like patriotic things much better. So I decided, my dad knew you on the show, person who runs the show, and I thought we could do some patriotic songs. And we picked this one because my sisters were in a special play for Flag Day concert, and they had this song, and I've been also taking piano lessons since September, and I have this in my book.
America?
The song called America.
Let's do it. Should we do it now?
Do it low. Piano slow. Wow.
This was also one of my favorite songs. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Do you have any more? Hello, my name is Hannah Grafman. I'm 7. My birthday is May 11th. Don't tell that
Hey, let her do her own.
I didn't have a part, and Julian thought of a part for me of announcing, and I just took it because I didn't have a part. So
Yes, you were singing.
thank you, Julian,
You're welcome.
and thank you all for coming. And we have watching, and we have one more speech.
Wait. Is it on?
Yeah.
I'm a twin, but it's Hannah.
Hi, my name is Madison Grafman. I'm 7 years old. I'm 7 years old, and I'm born on May 11th. I'm a twin with Hannah, and I'm 5 minutes older than her. And I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you liked it.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching.
Okay.
Tell you as it is. So we're the only real true medium of news left, public access. So I would be willing to teach to that youth, if you know any, all of the ins and outs of public access and all the ins and outs of video production. This whole system that has been developed by Glendora over the years. This is the Glendora system, which gets out 80 TV programs every 2 weeks. 80. And so at 7:30 a.m. I went down Route 6 and went through Peekskill to get to Route 9. And north on Route 9 and at Fishkill I stopped to see my funeral director. She's adorable. She is so pretty. Her name is Shannon Lashley. Her day was all booked up with deaths and grieving families and funeral services. But at least I saw her for a good 10 minutes. She also is a trustee of the Glendora Franklin Living Trust, the successor trustee. And then I went through Wappingers and the town of Poughkeepsie and the city of Poughkeepsie. I love going up Route 9 along the Hudson River. I just love it. And I stop every 15 minutes and I rejoice about something and I do some praying and I write down the time and how many hours we've been on the road and the miles. So I did that. And I did that at Hyde Park, and I did it at Rhinecliff, and I did it at Red Hook, and I did it at Upper Red Hook, and I ran into the Dutchess County Fair and got into the wrong lane. Fortunately, there was a space enough between the cones, these cones, and a woman let me in so I could get into the direct north traffic, the through traffic lane. And I got up to Upper Red Hook, and I go to the Stewart's there, and I spent about an hour there, writing in my journal this. And rejoicing, and reviewing what good days these are, and making sure nothing spoils their happiness. And everybody liked the purple hat. That's not the outfit that you see today. It was a purple hat, and I hope you'll see it later. No, you won't. It'll be on another edition that won't go to your cable system. But they liked the purple hat and the purple pants and the purple jacket and the purple tie and the purple socks. And came into Columbia County, into Clarendon, is that what it is? And into Livingston, and then that ends Route 9 because it goes off to Hudson and makes the most convoluted zigzags. And then I went straight forward on Route 9H and went to the museum. And this time I could remember the combination to the combination lock. Earlier, the day before, I could not get it to open. work in the museum, bringing out things that have to come here to the office and putting things away that are done in the office. And the outdoors is pretty tidy. It's very pretty over there. The sky was reasonably clear of aerosols that are dumped out of these jet planes. A terrible thing for your health. It's dangerous even for you to breathe, what they're exuding from those jet planes. And we've got to do something about it. I'll work with you on it later. And it's nice. The museum, of course, is perfectly tidy. It's all organized and trim and neat and very, very nice just to sit there and feel the breeze come across the field. It's lovely. And then home at 1:30. And .com, who never meows. She never meows. She never talks. Meowed 6 times. I had been away a day and a half. And that has never happened to her since she came here in November. So that was unheard of for her. But she adjusted very quickly. And boy, did she stay with me the rest of the day. So unloaded and put away. That takes a long time. And slept and slept and slept. And .com sleeping on my stomach. She's an Alpine cat. She's a belly cat. And I think that's it. And the next day was getting the logs up to date and getting the finances up to date. The finances entered and started on the Harrison court. Now see, that's the second court. We won in White Plains, didn't we, this week? Harrison court failed miserably. And they can't even get the appeal ready to go to the appellate term. So that's the paper that was written, and it took 5.5 hours to write that paper and started printing the first 10 pages. It's 30 pages long, excoriating the procrastination in the Harrison Town Court, Westchester County. And then starting on the appellate term, the Rye City Court, that appeal hasn't been processed yet. This is how miserable and dysfunctional our courts are in New York State. And then today, starting at 5:15 on the appellate term for the Rye City Court, getting that brief back in and getting it served on Charles Dolan again, which is totally unfair. I served it on Charles Dolan once at his home. And I've been 5.5 hours on that today. And then I had to do these video reports for you. Insert. At the White Plains City Court, there was a black man out on the sidewalk. And he had children with him, and I believe a woman was with him. And he was hollering, "No justice in the White Plains City Court. No justice in the White Plains City Court. Only money." And I took his paper, and I want to show it to you, because he was doing the right thing. He had not got justice in the White Plains City Court. He went through a bunch of judges, whose names I will read to you. He's crossed out a lot of names here, which is bad, you know. I never do that. I give everybody's name. And he shows an adjudication here. It's about child support, which is an ugly thing in the first place. I do not like to see men and women break up. You stay with it no matter what. If it's a bad match or whatever it is, you just go to the God that's inside of you and you rise above the whole situation. And you be a perfect person and you make your mate a perfect person. I am not for the divorce. And I am not for breaking up a family. I think that's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to do to children. And I see it every day. A child spending 2 days with his mother, 3 days with his father. That is not right. That's ruining a child. So I don't sympathize with his cause, but I do sympathize with the injustice in the court. And the judges that he names, I want to name them for you. He names District Attorney Julie Newman. These are the bad people. And I believe him, that they are bad. And he names the New Rochelle Family Court. I know the New Rochelle Family Court to be I know the New Rochelle City Court to be a total failure. That I have personal experience, personal knowledge. Now wait, so stay still while I find these judges. You can listen to the music, Martha. Judge Press. Oh, here's a terrible man, Judge Leak. That man should never, ever be on a bench. Judge Freya, there's problems there. Judge Leak, Judge Freya, and Judge Press. Okay, I sympathize with this man. I empathize with him. I know what he's going through. I know he's not getting justice. And he actually came in off the street and went up to the clerk's window and hollered into the window what an unjust court this was. And here's 4 court officers. I'm surprised they didn't arrest him, but I'm glad they didn't. And then he went off. I believe there were 3 children involved. And I believe there was a woman with him. What is his name? Nicholas Fraser. Nicholas Fraser, do what we're trying to do. Seek the Lord inside of you. Spend your alone time with God. Spend your days in pure thoughts and happy thoughts and counting blessings. And rise above this horrible thing. And correct what you have done wrong. Amen. And I will pray for you, Nicholas. Fraser, I will pray for you. I will put you and I will send pulses of goodwill and happiness and wealth and attainment and security and peace and joy. I will send pulses your way. Okay, amen. I think we are up to date. What's coming forward, just let me give you a little bit. Tonight I go to bed at my bedtime, which is 9 o'clock, but I get up at 2 a.m. And I prepare and pack up. Because my neighbor, Jane Dean, is going to Washington, D.C. driving. And she wants to leave at 4:30. And I don't want her to go alone, and she's scared to go alone. And I immediately felt her pain, and I volunteered to drive with her, to go with her. And I'll go to Washington, D.C., and I'll see the great American patriot, George Edward McDermott. And George Edward McDermott and I will go to Public Access D.C., who has frightfully censored a chat with Glendora, covering up the wrongs that judges do in the District of Columbia. And I will go and see them. I will try to take them to lunch. And then I want to see the Supreme Court of the United States. If they're in session, probably not. They're probably out golfing. And then I want to go over to Maryland Public Access in Prince George's County. And I want to help George McDermott all that I can. And then he got me a reservation. It's costing only $69 to go from Washington, D.C. to Hudson, New York. And it leaves at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it gets to Hudson around 2:30. That's not bad, is it? 2:30 in the afternoon. So that's it, folks. Goodbye. Is it time for jokes again? Edgar says, our dog is like one of the family. And his buddy says, which one? And Bob says he has a dog who plays poker. Do you believe it, a dog who plays poker? And Bob says, that's right, but he's not too smart about it. Every time he gets a good hand, he wags his tail. Why did the inventor cross a blanket with a toaster? So people will pop out of bed in the morning. A boy wrote home to his dad, I joined the drama club, Dad, and I've already got a part in a play. I play the part of a man who's been married for 30 years. And Dad wrote back, good son, I hope in your next play you'll get a speaking part. The economists say that things are going to pick up in the last quarter, and Pete says, that's good, I'm down to my last quarter right now. And there are some things that money won't buy. For instance, what it bought 2 years ago. And teenagers know the value of money. They know the value of a dollar. People say they don't, but they do. That's why they ask you for 20. A retiring teacher said it was great in the old days. The kids brought you apples. Today they drive you bananas. And for every kid who has a spark of genius, there's 9 others who have ignition problems. And finally, do you know that standing behind every successful man is what? A proud wife and a flabbergasted mother-in-law. This is Glendora, cheerful look at life. Keep the courage flaming. And remember your alone time with God. Remember everything you want can come out of the inside of you. All the richness, happiness, peace, attainment, joy, satisfaction, applause, appreciation, love, respect. Everything you want comes from here. The alone time with God, and keeping your thought pure during the day, and rejoicing about something every 15 minutes, and it's 3:45. What do we rejoice about? I'll tell you right away. It's August, folks. It's still August. It isn't December. Notice this, October 12th, 2004. Appellate term, 2nd Department, Supreme Court, 9th and 10th Judicial Districts, County of Westchester, State of New York, United States of America. Appellant's brief. The appellant is Glendora, 1154. Glendora, plaintiff, appellant, remand, second appeal. I won the first one. Versus Charles F. Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation. Defendant, appellees, reversed. I won it once. And then because of the shenanigans of Peter Lane and liar for hire Robert M. Callaghy, Satterley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke. 230 Park Avenue. And I have to appeal again because there's no justice. And now, this is the affidavit of service that has to go to the appellate term, and it has to be there Friday the 2nd. And if it isn't there, they will dismiss the appeal. And this is the note of issue that's being served on Charles F. Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation at 47 Purdy Street, Harrison, New York. Here is the affidavit of service, all filled out for George McDermott to sign. And this is going to be interesting because this says the State of New York, and down here, the State of New York. Now we will see if the appellate term accepts service from somebody in the District of Columbia. Won't that be something? I want to show you that this is in 6 volumes. This is volume 1 out of 6. Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5, Volume 6. I have to shut off the camera. I need 2 hands. Folks, this is the log on it, the hours and the dollars. And I found out only yesterday that this had to be in by Friday, and I'm going away to Washington, D.C. So it had to get done today, and I believe it is done. And I wrote to this court, and I said, this court is mean to make Glendora serve the appellant's brief upon Charles Dolan again in Cablevision Systems Corporation. She served it once, and here is the affidavit of service, way back here, dated December 27th. It took her 5¼ hours to make the second copy. It will take 2 hours to hook up with her friend to serve and be notarized. It costs $13.46 to print it, $4.22 to post it, $10.50 in mileage, $28.18 altogether. And it had already been served once. This is Opus 1306, 8¼ hours, $28.18 without prejudice. Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1, 207, Glendora. Now this was due in the appellate term on the 30th. It was served on the 27th. And because it got there a day late, how can I be responsible for the post office? Because it got there a day late, they dismissed the appeal. And I had to make a motion to vacate the dismissal. And Zayamara and Sheridan and Nancy Sunshine, the clerk of the court of the appellate term, gave me all kinds of hard times when I wrote my motion to vacate the dismissal. But finally, after 6 months, and after suing Zayamara LeBrun, and suing Frank Sheridan, and suing Nancy Sunshine in federal court, they finally vacated their illegal and abandoned dismissal of my appeal. And this is after the Rye Court would not pay for the minutes. And I never did get my appeal in the Rye Court. This appeal is really of Peter Lane refusing to pay for the minutes. This is really what this appeal is. It's a third case. A third appeal. Oh. So it's ready. And I'll take it to Washington, D.C. and Monday morning. George McDermott will sign it before a notary, and he will serve Charles F. Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation. And it should get there by Friday, September 2nd. Maybe we'll send it overnight or something. Do you see how the courts have sunken to total dysfunctionalism? Look at all of this work. Look at all of this time. Look at all of this money. And do you get justice? No. You get stupidity. This is the current Cablevision drawer. And there are 14 more just like them, like this one. 14 more. 14 file drawers. And then this is another. Half of this is Cablevision. I wish Charles Dolan, James Dolan, Mac Dudill, Thomas Garger would get out of cable TV. And I wish that that cable company would be taken over by somebody who knows how to do public access and who knows how to operate a business under the law. We've got to spend more time praying for those people. They're in a bad way, and I don't like to see them waste their lives. I don't like to see them be as bad as they can be. I like to see them be as good as they can be. This is Glendora versus Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, Mac Udell, Thomas Garger, Christine Savarino, Charles A. Forma, Cecilia Masterilli, Peggy Anderson, Robert M. Callaghan, Sadly Stevens, Burke and Burke, and Patricia Langelotti. And this has to be out by midnight tonight. Oh, 20 envelopes are addressed. Addressed to the person, return address, and here's the postage on it, $1.53. And the collating has started. Now the printing is really going to hold it up. There's 60 pages and we're only up to 28. That's really going to be touch and go. We're up to page 31, folks. Everything's collated to date. 30 pages are collated. We got, the whole thing is 60. I feel so sorry for this young man. He wanted a happy book. And he wanted it badly, I think. And he was reaching out. And I sent it to him. And look, it comes back. Now, there's nothing wrong with the address. The post office says that it says, addressee unknown. Return to sender. Well, the poor guy, they kicked him out. And they won't even forward his happy book. And I says, how come there's 2 forwarding stickers on there? And the post office explained to me that one sticker sent the book back to Glendora at Ghent, and another one forwarded it to Glendora now. And then the postmaster says the address is okay. 9 Park Street, Holtzville, New York, 11742. And I says, well, how do you know that? I says, that's wonderful. She says, I looked it up in the computer. Can you imagine that? From Columbia County to Suffolk County, they have everybody's address in the computer? My goodness. Folks, do you recognize this highway? Do you recognize this highway? Well, this is I-95. You know what state it is in?
Maryland.
It's in Maryland. And we're on our way to Washington, D.C. So, we've been 300 miles. We left at 5:30 this morning. And it's been a wonderful trip. And I want to read you this paper. Town Court. Town of Harrison, County of Westchester, State of New York, United States of America. Glendora Plaintiff versus Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, Mac Udell, Thomas Garger, Charles A. Former, Christine Savarino, Cecilia Masterilli, Peggy Anderson, Robert M. Callaghan, Sadly Stevens, Burke and Burke, and Patricia Langelotti. Langelotti. And it is case number 0405-0357. And what is this paper? Glendora Memorandum on the Ineptitude, Procrastination, and Mass Confusion of the Harrison Town Court. And send her appeal to the appeals court before this court gets sued. Let's take a look at page 1. First of all, court, there is no case Glendora versus Longelati. There never was. You have been told that 6 times. The court clerk made a mistake, with many later mistakes to come, in filing 2 cases, bogus Glendora versus Longelati and Glendora versus Charles Dolan through Satterley. The minimum a litigant can expect of a court is a clerk who can read. Don't you think that's right, folks? There is only one case, and this is its caption. Now, how much longer is it going to take this court to understand this? You like to ride along on the turnpike, folks? So I reproduce the caption again. And this is about the 8th time. This is an answer to your paragraph 1 of July the 21st, 2005. As to paragraph 2, Glendora is not paying rip-off Carbone $100 for the minutes of a mass confusion conference where nothing happened but a date set for Glendora to reply by mail, not by court appearance, to an illegal motion to dismiss by somebody with no Carmody weight proof of representation, which was demanded by Glendora and ignored by the court. This court has colluded with Carbone in her relentless ripoff of citizens seeking their rights to justice in the Harrison court. And your letter on page 5 omitted that Glendora's memorialization of what happened in court in that mass confusion. We're up to page 7, folks. This court can either waive the requirement for these senseless minutes or pay Carbone per ripoff $100, or get the minutes at half price, or free. In 1997, Glendora was ripped off by Carbone for $300 for minutes, $5 a page for a page half empty. Glendora said, never again. Page 8. Go to paragraph 3 of your page 5 letter. Glendora's motions are made in writing, as they should be. She is not taking a whole day to drive 124 miles to Harrison and back 124 miles with gasoline at $2.67 a gallon. She does not want any more of the disjointed madness in the Harrison court room, which illegally jams 30 standees into a room with a specified limit. The court is in violation of the New York State Fire Code. A whole day, 250 miles, and all that labor is not worth the 10 minutes of madness in the Harrison court. What we need is a judge who can read and who does his homework and comes to court prepared instead of helter-skelter. As bad as Rye City Court is, Peter Lane, he goes to his chambers and reads his papers and knows what is going on. As to your last paragraph on page 5, a later letter from you discloses that neither Charles Dolan nor Cablevision defendants appeared. Infra, Glendora answers this letter, second paragraph. And we are up to page 11. So we're looking for Route 295, folks. And that goes for about 30 miles, and then we come right into Washington, D.C.
Almost at 67. We're down to 67. We got to go to 52. So we're getting close. 67A, we need what, 52 or 50?
Yeah, 52. no motions before this court. She simply asks the court to do what it is supposed to do. Finalize the return and get it to the appellate term of the 9th District. Other courts know how to do it. Why can't this court? See page 13. And then we show them the communication from the Phillipstown court, and it says, please be informed that on this date, the above captioned record on appeal was mailed to the appellate term in Brooklyn. August, Glendora versus Longelotti, and Glendora versus Charles Dolan through Satterley. The minimum a litigant can expect of a court is a clerk who can read. Don't you think that's right, folks? There is only one case, and this is its caption. Now, how much longer is it going to take this court to understand this? You like to ride along on the turnpike, folks? So I reproduce the caption again. And this is about the 8th time. This is an answer to your paragraph 1 of July the 21st, 2005. As to paragraph 2, Glendora is not paying rip-off Carbone $100 for the minutes of a mass confusion conference where nothing happened but a date set for Glendora to reply by mail, not by court appearance, to an illegal motion to dismiss by somebody with no Carmody weight truth of representation, which was demanded by Glendora and ignored by the court. This court has colluded with Carbone in her relentless ripoff of citizens seeking their rights to justice in the Harrison court. And your letter on page 5 omitted that Glendora's memorialization of what happened in court in that mass confusion. We're up to page 7, folks. This court can either waive the requirement for these senseless minutes or pay Carbone her ripoff $100 or get the minutes at half price or free. In 1997, Glendora was ripped off by Carbone for $300 for minutes, $5 a page for a page half empty. Glendora said, never again. Page 8. Go to paragraph 3 of your page 5 letter. Glendora's motions are made in writing, as they should be. She is not taking a whole day to drive 124 miles to Harrison and back 124 miles with gasoline at $2.67 a gallon. She does not want any more of the disjointed madness in the Harrison court room, which illegally jams 30 standees into a room with a specified limit. The court is in violation of the New York State Fire Code. A whole day, 250 miles, and all that labor is not worth the 10 minutes of madness in the Harrison court. What we need is a judge who can read and who does his homework and comes to court prepared instead of helter-skelter. As bad as Rye City Court is, Peter Lane, he goes to his chambers and reads his papers and knows what is going on. As to your last paragraph on page 5, a later letter from you discloses that neither Charles Dolan nor Cablevision defendants appeared. Infra, Glendora answers this letter, second paragraph. And we are up to page 11. So we're looking for Route 295, folks. And that goes for about 30 miles, and then we come right into Washington, D.C.
Almost at 67. We're down to 67. We gotta go to 52. So we're getting close. 67A, we need what, 52 or 50?
Yeah, 52. Glendora has no motions before this court. She simply asks the court to do what it is supposed to do. Finalize the return and get it to the appellate term in the 9th District. Other courts know how to do it. Why can't this court? See page 13. And then we show them the communication from the Phillipstown court, and it says, please be informed that on this date, the above captioned record on appeal was mailed to the appellate term in Brooklyn. Now really, Harrison Court, that's not so hard, is it? That is not so hard, is it? What this court needs is a judge who pays attention to his job. John Vogt does not know Glendora's case. He has never read her papers. For instance, he never had laid eyes on the following, which is Glendora's omnibus motion or omnibus application, plaintiff Glendora to read her opening statement in court, to videotape her court appearance, to audiotape the same, and to subpoena Charles F. Dolan to appear personally. Now, Glendora will deal with the Vote paper of July the 18th, 2005. It is reproduced on the back of this page as page 18. Glendora has already filed her appeal on her case, Glendora versus Charles F. Dolan, through Langelotti. She gets paid her $5 fee. Vote paper of July the 18th, 05 is a nullity.
Hold on, Vesta.
Here you are, folks, going through the Fort McHenry
Henry.
Tunnel.
Now we're looking for 295 as soon as we get out of this. We must be going under the river or something. Oh, I see daylight.
At the end of the tunnel.
Wish this guy would get off me here. He's tailgating me. I'm just gonna slow up and he'll have to slow up. Here, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so we are on 295,
Yeah.
and we are looking for the next leg of the trip, which is New York Avenue, Route 50, going into Washington, D.C., and to a very posh hotel that's right across from the White House. So continuing with this, the reason that John Voch's paper is a nullity is this: notice to the court and to all defendants that plaintiff Glendora has won all her relief she sought in her motion of July 4th, 2004 and of Pearl Harbor Day, 2004. By the civil practice laws and rules, a statute of the state of New York, Rule 2219, a judge has 60 days to rule on a motion. And this judge took like 6 times that. Now, why has the court been embarrassingly autistic as to this issue? The law is the law. Voch missed his 60 days with 18, just as he did with his April Fool's Day paper. And I informed Voch of this in an open-face letter, 9/12, that could be read by anybody.
So I put that in there, pack that up. Oh dear. How you like that?
Vogt says upon review of the complaint, and Glendora says prove it. And upon the notice of motion and affirmation, Attorney Laura McQuaid, dated 6/21, none was ever made. It was a letter. And after review of plaintiff's affirmation received in the Harrison court, the court finds that the plaintiff has failed to meet the burden of proof and establish, and this is a lie, folks, I did meet the burden of proof, and I met it 10 times beyond what was required, that she is entitled to damages. The complainant has commenced similar proceedings in other jurisdictions, including the federal courts, all of which have been dismissed, and Glendora says, what is your relevance? This is ultra vires. And then, accordingly, the complaint of the plaintiff, Glendora, is dismissed. And Glendora says, accordingly, is non sequitur. It doesn't follow. Between Baltimore and Washington, D.C.
He's turning off.
So Glendora says it is over in the Harrison court. The case has moved on to the appeals court, and here's my money order receipt to the town court of Harrison, where I paid to appeal.
Pull out on me, bud.
What? And it's not surprising, folks, to me, that Vogt is delaying sending down my record on appeal to the appeals court because Vogt is so ashamed of it. He doesn't want the appeals court to see it. And Glendora is going to put up with these frenetics another 2 weeks, and then she is going to sue the Harrison court and federal court for violation of her civil rights under title of state, under color of states, Title 42, Section 1983, civil rights, and 1985 conspiracy. The misconduct and ineptitude of this court elicited the following. A check for another $100 for the second one that the United States District Court, Rhode Island, lost. The third one for $50 hasn't come back yet. Then we received from the United States District Court, Providence, our whole complaint sent back to us for the fourth time. The fourth time that the Rhode Island Federal Court has boomeranged Glendora's complaint. It's a kangaroo court, a kangaroo clerk, in violation of federal rules of civil procedure, rules 75, 76, 77, which tell the clerks they have to file papers. That's why we pay them the bucks. Glendora is submitting her complaint for the fourth time. Glendora is submitting her complaint for filing. A $250 postal money order is enclosed. Can you file this complaint without losing $250? This was the envelope that they sent it back in, and we will save that, of course, for evidence, because they are being sued in Omnibus 27. This, by the way, is Omnibus 25. Correction. This is on, and call next week and so forth. And I never could find out the status of my case. And I wrote a letter to find out the status of my case, and nobody answered it. And way back, you have this mistake with Charles Dolan in care of Satterley. Well, he wasn't in care of Satterley. And so I tried to point that out to him, and I went at great length. This is going to be my complaint in federal court, this very paper that I'm showing you now. So,
Oh, Goddard Space Flight Center. That's what he meant for me to pull off there, but to call George. But I don't know how I get back on again. And well, I guess I could get back on again.
don't worry about it. Just go to the hotel, we'll meet him.
But then I would know how to get into the hotel without my co-pilot. George? I just passed the Space Center a couple minutes ago. Okay, thanks. Bye. He's heading down to the hotel.
Really?
Yep. I said, I just passed the Space Center a couple minutes ago. He said, okay. I'll meet you right down there at the hotel. Oh, you better get going now, he goes.
So George McDermott just called and he's headed for the hotel, and so are we. And this hotel, as we told you, is right across the street from the White House. And so how did this end up? As with a notice of appeal with attachment. But then Boach never did his job on the appeal. And so Glendora has to write a notice of motion in motion, an affirmation in support, expedite her appeal, amen. .295 between Baltimore and Washington, very close to Washington, D.C. Here's one we left out. Glendora's notice that Boach's order of April Fool's Day is a nullity. Neither Longelotti nor Singer served Glendora a notice of entry within 60 days. I told Boach about the United States District Court in Des Moines. Glendora said that they didn't do her justice. She wanted her money back, and they gave it back to her. And here's the check for that. $250. Now here's the biggest news of all to go to Boach, that this week Glendora won a judgment against Cablevision for $5,000. This was in a good court. Defendant has 30 days to pay. So under penalty of perjury, Glendora asseverates that she has told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help her God. And that the defendants in the court have not. And further, and here's the long list of people that this 60-page paper was served upon. And this paper took something like 12 hours and cost something like $30 to print and post.
West to downtown, is that where I want to go? 50,
You want 6th Street,
just plain old 6th Street.
Washington, D.C.
This is. Hey, I'm gonna pull off. All right, here I am. I'm at the arena stage. There's boats and yachts and stuff. Waterfront at what? Yeah, Washington Marina. Okay. All right, I'm just right here in front of the building.
Why don't you tell
Thanks,
George to come and get us?
Okay, thanks. All right. Okay. Bye. He's coming over.
I think I said that.
Okay, keep your phone on. All righty. Bye. He said you should have turned right instead of left. Vasta's in the back here. Hi, George. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm Jane.
Jane, glad to meet you.
I made 2 wrong turns.
Hi, Glendora. How you doing?
He told me to go right and I went left. So.
It'll fade down to black.
Yeah, this is really about 9 different churches in one.
In what way?
They have 9 different altars.
Oh. Well,
A little bit of
Everything.
sights don't hurt, I think. You know that?
yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
A little bit of,
That's the Potomac River, folks.
yeah. That's the one monument, yeah. When you get on and off of it, it'll take you all to all the monuments. You know.
This was all swamp
This is all swamp.
at one time, and it was all built up.
So they created a basin here for the monuments to be built around. That's a beautiful shot.
What's a basin? Something they put water in?
Yeah, just a big bowl. That's what it is. And the Potomac River flows
There's the
into it.
Washington Monument. What street is this, George?
This is still part of Rock Creek Park, I think. I'm moving my office out of the house this week. Got the Oyster Monument. That's the Holocaust Museum right here.
Agricultural Department. Constitution Avenue.
Yep. This is all Smithsonian over here on this side.
Smithsonian.
That's our national museum. Free to everybody. I came down here, I'd walk down here and something back 50s and the 60s, I'd walk down here and spend all day walking through the museums. That's the Arts Museum there. Here's the Air and Space Museum right here. And this new yellow one down here that just opened up last month. That's the Indian Museum.
American
Indian.
Native American?
Yeah. And you got the Capitol. But I can't go any closer than this. What I can do is pull right over here and let you get a real good shot of it. How's that look?
Yeah. Good for you.
Senate Dirksen office building. My father put all the steel in that.
He did?
Yep.
Oh.
National Arboretum.
And you said that building is what?
That there is the National Aeronautics Administration, FAA. Feeling that.
You did?
Yep.
Oh.
National Arboretum.
And you said that building is what?
That there is the National Aeronautics Administration, FAA. That was a big building. Yeah, they
House
are.
office building. House office building.
One, two, three buildings.
Wow.
$430. Yeah, it's on.
Are we out of Washington?
Huh?
Are we out of Washington, D.C.?
No.
Here, let me see that little baby face. Look over to me. Woof, 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 woof. What a cute face. Oh, what a cute face.
He's just overexerting himself right now. So I'm
This is George McDermott's church. And this is the bulletin. This morning's bulletin. And I think it's very, very nice.
Went ahead and ordered mandatory evacuation for all the coastal and lower-lying areas. We were at a spot about, I don't know, a couple hundred yards away, Mike. That way, a couple hundred yards away. And it was already up about 8 or so feet above the local tide with its surface. So our understanding is that that if indeed is all put out will be the same. I'm going to watch your feet there, Tim. I'm going to walk through there.
This is Mr. George McDermott, being the affiant of service of Glendora's appellant brief upon Charles Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation. Isn't this interesting in the state of Maryland? And the affidavit of service mentions the state of New York, so we're going to test this.
Christopher Everett was the notary.
Okay, Mr. Everett is the notary. And we're going to test this. Is the Supreme Court going to say, oh no, this service is no good because it came from Maryland instead of state of New York? I find this quite challenging.
There's Chris's card.
This item would you let her know? They will take you 3 days worth of emergency. So we should.
How you doing? Did you want confirmation?
Yeah.
She'd already stamped that one in.
You got the... It's rolling.
Because they're getting ready to put a big, obnoxious baseball stadium right here that will obstruct the view of the capital of the United States. And I think it's absolutely wrong. Okay? See, we're coming around to the capital of the United States, and right now all you'd be able to see was stadium. But do you think that this view here should be obstructed by a baseball stadium?
No.
Huh? Does vacant most of the time? I don't think. I mean, this is a beautiful view coming into the capital of the United States. See, I couldn't have done this. See, that's in between the bill and the Capitol. On the left-hand side, you got the Longworth Senate House Office Building. On the right-hand side, you got the Russell. So you can, okay. Well, you can put that down now if you want to. See, I do this. I do this all the time.
This is the United States. This is the District of Columbia Court of Appeals, or the U.S. District Court of Appeals.
That's the U.S. District Court of Appeals.
All right, this is the Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia.
And right next door to it is the District
Wait
Court.
a second. Filled with odious, dishonest, souls self-surrendered to vice. And I can name 24 of them to you. And I have read you the papers. They're covered up by a beautiful tree here.
I mean, I don't know, but it's a lot of money. There you go, better shot of it.
A roundhouse for a bunch of squares.
Oh boy. Here are your tapes that I'm taking here.
DCTV, public access, Washington, D.C. Thank you, Karen Beasley. Thank you, Felicia. And thank you, Andreas. Here you go, folks. George wants to videotape us. Can you see anything?
Stay here 1 second. I think I left it on standby instead of on.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, Lisa, open it. Keep the door shut.
Ready?
Yes, talk to Aunt Debbie works in the courthouse.
Okay.
Okay, well then, just go up to the clerk of the court. Back here, girl. Back here. You can do it right. Okay, yeah, you can go up to the courthouse and just go in and check all cases relating to her name. Use her name. And then it'll have years. And then once you get the case name, then you can find out. Then you have the docket. You have a docket sheet printed of the case, the docket of the case, of what the charges were and stuff like that. Okay? They're 50 cents a page. It's 25 cents a page. Okay? I love you, babe. Bye. Bye. Okay, Glendora, let's head on out and do an interview.
Oh, we're going to do an interview?
Oh yes. I wanted you to tell people how nice DCTV was to you.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Well, DCTV was very nice to me. Who was that on the phone?
That was my Mary.
Oh, hi, Mary.
Hello. Let me see. I can't see it anyhow. We're just going to have to stand here. Well, Glendora, we're out here. It's getting ready to leave DCTV. And you got to meet Karen and some of the other staff.
I met Karen Beasley, and I met Andreas, and I met Felicia.
Okay. And how do you think the meeting went?
Oh, perfectly. They were wonderfully hospitable, and they're solving all of the problems, most of which I caused.
Well, I'm going to put this all on videotape on my own and give you a coming out right now.
Yeah.
It's worth over. So even in the condition it's in, $250,000.
Oh, right. Why is that?
Because it's urban revitalization. Rich people are coming in from Capitol Hill and buying up all the property. This whole area in here. They bought the whole area out.
We're still in the district, right? District of Columbia. But will it get your business back?
Right now, I don't care about my business. My concern is to make sure that the future generations don't lose their rights and their properties because of the criminal acts of these judges.
Are we leaving the district?
No, we're not leaving the district yet. We're coming up on New York Avenue. This is where you came in yesterday.
And you should have met us here, right here.
I might have been a little bit better, but it was more fun the way it happened.
New York Avenue is actually Route 50 and Route 1.
Right. US Route 1 and 50.
US Route 1 and US Route 50. Where is it, honey?
Right there. CTV.
Oh, CTV. Yeah. Nice building.
Yeah, nice.
Maryland Public Access. Prince George's County, George?
Yeah.
Prince George's County.
They all have studios in them. You see they've won several awards.
Oh, it's so attractive.
Yeah.
CTV, Maryland. Oh, George, what a lovely toupee. Oh, you just look lovely in it.
This is the ultimate in blue collar today.
Yes, a blue-collar candidate. And here's George Edward McDermott, the activist, with an acorn hat on. Mr. McDermott.
Yeah, you should be very, very thankful about Acorn.
Oh, yes.
Acorn is a national movement to right the wrongs that have been done by the society on the poor and the defenseless, and Acorn is doing a fabulous job of bringing to the forefront the disparate treatment that the poor and the disadvantaged are getting in this country.
Predatory lending.
Predatory lending is one of their top agendas, but they don't only deal with predatory lending, they deal with homelessness, they deal with refinancing homes, they deal with community groups trying to get better rent control, and they deal with people trying to get better schools. They're very active in our schools, trying to turn around George Bush's No Child Left Behind nonsense. It's going to destroy our education system. So, yes, we should all be very thankful that Acorn is out there fighting for us. Unfortunately, I've seen in the last couple of weeks, ever since Virginia Beach, it seems like the police now are under a mandate to take aggressive action against Acorn's Acorn's demonstrations, and like I just showed in Virginia Beach, the ambush at Virginia Beach, now they're prosecuting every little First Amendment demonstration that they can get, which is sad, because if they silence Acorn, we're going to lose a very valuable tool in this nation for the righting of wrongs. So, and Glendora, I hope that you will put this on the air, because it is very, very important that the Acorn
What
get
does
recognition.
Acorn stand for?
An association of community organizations for reform now.
Oh.
Okay?
Amtrak between Baltimore and Wilmington, Delaware. Going home, folks. Union Station was spectacular. And its architecture and its filigree and its elegance. Union Station, Washington, D.C. George McDermott. He's so kind-hearted and so good-hearted. We thank God all the time that we, at a Union Station, that we were together. And I'll tell you all about the trip. You have to show a photo ID before you board the train, before you get your ticket, before you hand your ticket to the conductor. And they had a girl conductor. A girl conductor. And what's this body of water, folks? Oh, it's big. We have a great earth god. Oh, it's big. There's so many trees on the earth. Albert says, our dog is just like one of the family. And his friend says, yeah? Which one? And did you hear about the dog who plays poker? No, you don't have a dog that plays poker. Yeah. He's not very good at it though. Every time he gets a good hand, he wags his tail. Bloomington, Delaware, you remember what a bad place that was? Yeah, Franklin and I went there.
Right, that's
and filed a lawsuit against Dolan Cablevision in violation of the Delaware business law and the New York State business corporation law when they wouldn't show us the books, records, and minutes. But nowadays we have an investigation by the Securities Exchange Commission going on in Cablevision.
Yeah. Let's go through it when I get there. And I think what would also be helpful is
Amtrak. 20 minutes to Philadelphia.
That is not.
I'm doing the logs. And I did the exercise body at the hotel, much to everybody's dismay. Philadelphia. Philadelphia. Rotten Courts. Rotten District Courts. Rotten Court of Appeals. I don't know how many minutes to New York because their loudspeaker's broken. Amtrak. On our way to New York City. Trenton, New Jersey. And the logs are done. Going toward New York. And home. Newark, New Jersey. Pennsylvania Station. I got off of the, can you hear me okay, folks? I got off of the train in New York, New York, and two men with hand carts saw me, and one motioned to the other, and then one came over and said, "That's Glendora. He's on Queen's television." And so I gave him a card and he showed it to the other man and he says, "Look, Bob Hope." So I gave the card to another man. First man was named Manny. Second man was named Tom, and he lives in Queens too. So we'll say both two of them, we'll say hello on TV. Hello Manny, hello Tom. From Glendora. At Penn Station we met. Penn Station, Yonkers, Croton on Hudson. the Hudson River. The Hudson River. And it's rumored that when Henry Hudson came up the Hudson River, and he saw some children at Stuyvesant, what is now Stuyvesant, playing on the shore, he says, Kinderhook, children's corner. That old camcorder, what, way back in 1990, yields a beautiful picture. He took pictures of the greenery and of the blueberries, and they were exquisite on the monitor. Amazing, amazing resolution and color and brightness and liveliness. So this is a companionship that's philosophic. A teenager and a camcorder. And they're going to have fun together. He leaves today for vacation for 2 weeks, and he'll probably bring us back some beautiful pictures. Isn't that nice? And then he mowed our lawn, and then he went and he mowed Mrs. Somebody's lawn. And so I'm very happy about that. That's the Panasonic VHS camcorder that Mary Ramage bought at a rummage sale or a tag sale or a garage sale for $10. And hi folks, how are you? What have we got to tell you? What have we done since we got back from Washington, D.C.? And first of all, we have to tell you about the Washington, D.C. trip. Well, we had to get back and we had to do the titles, folks, on 11, half hour, a chat with Glendora. All very interesting and very exciting events reported to you on the TV show that tells you nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and the truth. So help us God. And then after the titling, which started yesterday and took all day yesterday and was over at 12:30 p.m. we started the editing, which means you make 6 dubs of each one of the 11 programs. That'll be 66 programs. Then you'll have to put in a few more to make it about 80. It takes about 80 programs to service the 48 TV shows that a Chat with Glendora television network is on. And so that was the 6th edition, program number 4154, 6th edition. And now we're going to pop in number 7. Grace and peace be unto you from God our Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. 4 copy cartridges were delivered. That was Philosophic. And they're all up in the closet. You want to see them there. The great big ones, E40, the twice as big ones. There they all are, all 4 of them. And then 3 are being sent back. And I got this 3 packed in this box, and this kitty cat has taken possession of the box. She has been there most of the day, and she's so happy. And she was so unhappy when her person was gone for 3 days. It's bedtime. I'm not sure whether we made it or not, but we certainly got through 11 editions. And we made at least 5 dubs of each edition. That's 55 tapes.
They are more than condensation trails, and they have analyzed this, and it's barium.
And in many of them we made 6 dubs. So maybe that's 60. And just to be sure, here's another 6 dubs of program 4150, edition 2, The Rain. This is the bottom box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 20, 30, 40. 51, 62.
Maybe it's the Val Trail.
72, 73. Yeah, I think we have enough.
International bankers.
I think we only need about 83. And there he is, the August moon on TV. But it's bedtime. This is a toy that Mary Ramage sent to .com, and she really likes it. Want me to fold it for you? I fold it for you, huh? Can he fold it for you? Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Want me to throw it for you? Come here. I'll throw it for you. Are you ready? She's under the bed. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. This is my mother's birthday. My mother's birthday party. There's Frankie and Glennie and Nettie. Tea and apple pie. That's about all she ever ate. And she lived until she was 93. She was born in 1888. So yesterday she would have been 117 years old. September 1st. We stop and celebrate my mother's birthday party. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Neddy. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for all you did for us. Can you smell it? It's vegetarian bacon. And this is the toast. It's going to be a club sandwich, or it's going to be a BLT. Same thing. Lettuce. And let us look at the blue sky. No aerosol. No aerosol. No aerosol. Blue sky. And what is wrong with my animals? They don't come anymore and eat. That was apple pie, left over from my mother's birthday, and bread chunks, and nobody ate it. Cantaloupe, 99 cents, and fresh tomatoes from my neighbor's garden. Jane Dean, whom I supported going all the way to Washington, D.C., over 300 miles. And no mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is an animal product. We don't eat animal products. Salt and pepper is okay. Are okay. And there you are, a BLT. Bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. There is a vegetarian mayonnaise. It's called Better Than Mayonnaise or something. But we can get along without that. Berkshire Cable TV and telephone and computer. I just handed in a schedule when I wanted the 11 programs played on channel 8. Goodbye, August. You were a delightful month. Okay. This is Labor Day, Saturday. And I'll finish telling you about the last you saw of the trip from Washington, D.C. was coming up the Hudson River. And it was very nice. And he stopped at Hudson. Did I tell you they only stopped at Yonkers, Croton-on-Hudson, Rhinecliff, and Hudson. That was it. So I got off the train with my two great big boxes, Box A and Box B. And sort of looked around for a porter. No such thing. And a taxi. And somebody helped me. Looked like a taxi across the way. And somebody motioned for the taxi to come, and my goodness, it was a Cadillac. A lovely white Cadillac, and it rode so nicely. You know, the Cadillac used to ride like a tank in 1980 when we bought the Lincoln. That was one reason we bought the Lincoln. And it was a woman who owned the taxi, and she's 60 years old, and her name's Louise. And her car was spick and span, inside and outside, and I asked her to go to Walmart's. Because that's where we left the 1993 Lincoln with Bob at Automotive. So we had a very nice talk. She enjoyed talking. Crossing the Kinderhook Creek, which flows into the Stuyvesant and makes the falls and flows into the Hudson River. Isn't it wonderful, the waterways? There's Mary Ann's house and Catherine's house, Mary Ann Clark, both dead. Oh, that's a beautiful old car. I think it's a 1955, either Chevrolet or Oldsmobile. So I went to Walmart and I did some shopping, but I really didn't feel like doing a lot of shopping. And Bob wasn't available. It's the second time Bob said he would come over and lube, oil, and filter, change the 1980 Lincoln, and he just didn't come. Second time. Bob is such a rare person. He's so accommodating. But he just doesn't keep appointments. And so I got home to little.com. And little.com, I called her. She came to the Lincoln, 1993 Lincoln. And walked back and forth. She loves to sit on the Lincoln roof and on the hood and on the trunk. She loves to get inside and out and walk around. She meowed a few times. When I checked her food dish and it was empty. Took care of that in her litter pan and her water dish. And unloaded and put away. And guess what? To sleep. I think I slept 13 hours that night. Tuesday night. August 30th. August 31st, Wednesday, just get up and get dressed and make the bed and tidy the house, whatever, and start the titles. And there were 11 half-hour programs. 11 half-hour programs. And the titles were very nice. Glendora wins $5,000. judgment against Cablevision Cecilia. Public Service Commission cops out